Well, good afternoon. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, and welcome to our fourth session of our virtual 2020 Make Your Mark conference, brought to you via Zoom webinar and sponsored by the Iowa Developmental Disabilities Council. I'm Brooke Lovelace. I'm the Executive Director of the Iowa Developmental Disabilities Council. Although seeing you in person would be wonderful, we are still very excited to continue to offer you these virtual sessions that we've been doing over the month of September during the noon hour. We've got today and then one more next Tuesday, and then we're wrapping up on Friday, October 2nd, with the Legislative Forum. So do attend our last couple of sessions. Thank you, Bill, for being here today. I also want to say Happy National Voter Registration Day. This is just a good reminder to make sure you are registered so you can vote, whether that be in person or through an absentee ballot. We would like to thank AmeriGroup Iowa, Talk to Me Technologies, and Relay Iowa and Telecommunications Iowa for exhibiting with us this year. We do truly appreciate your involvement and support with our virtual conference and your commitment to providing Iowans with the resources they need to be active in their communities and in the state. If anyone would like more information about either AmeriGroup, Talk to Me Technologies, or Iowa Relay and Telecommunications of Iowa, please contact us separately outside of the session. We've listed our contact information for you on the screen. So just some housekeeping. Remember, all attendees are muted. We will be running a live Q&A after each of the speakers today, and then again at the end. The Q&A feature is located in the bottom of your screen in the toolbar. So if you do have any questions, just pop them in there. You can toggle over the bottom of your screen to make sure the toolbar does appear. You can also ask your questions through the chat feature located in the same Actions toolbar. Please also note that should be a closed captioning button located in the toolbar. Click that button to turn on the closed captioning. But if you do miss anything, don't worry. We will be sending out the on-demand recording to everyone that attended today's session when it's available. So we are excited to be joined today from staff from the Center for Developmental Disabilities and Development at the University of Iowa Healthcare, as well as members from the Community Ambassador Program. The Community Ambassadors Program is a self-advocacy group that's supported by the Center for Disabilities and Development and sponsored by our own DD Council. Tammy Amsbaugh leads this project. Tammy has worked at CDD for over 15 years in areas of employment and in community inclusion. She's also worked as the Community Corrections Support Reentry Project. She's on the Iowa Coalition of Integration and Employment Core Team and has been working with the Ambassadors Program since July. So the Community Ambassadors will present personal stories of residing in the facility and how community living has changed their lives. Each ambassador will share their unique journey of lessons learned along the way and their current successes. I want to really thank Tammy and the ambassadors for being with us today. We are super excited to have them here and to listen to what they have to say. With that, Tammy, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Brooke, and the Developmental Disabilities Council. And good afternoon and happy fall. I understand fall came into being this morning. And so here we are, fall of 2020. I would just like to say by way of introduction that the Ambassador Project and the concepts for the Ambassador Project have begun a long time ago with ideas for telling the stories of successes of individuals who moved into the community from facilities around the state. It dates back to really the early 2010s. We've had many Iowans make this transition with the help from Iowa's Money Follows the Person program. And in 2019, the project funded by the Iowa DD Council, as Brooke mentioned, got this started. And these ambassadors that are speaking today have been trained in making a speech. They have presented in person at Glenwood and Woodward Resource Centers and at various community meetings around the state. They've been featured in newsletter articles also. The project ran into a snag with the pandemic. We had in-person meetings scheduled, and just like many of things, they were canceled, and we are now just getting back up and running, and we are excited to offer this presentation virtually using our tools, virtual tools from the university and their willingness to be flexible with us. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to Johanna, who will introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Jo Schumacher, and I'm a transition specialist with Money Follows the Person. I've had a great privilege of working with ambassadors on this project and enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm going to go ahead and give it to Lori.
Hi, I'm Lori LeCarte. I'm an MFP transition specialist also. And the folks that are going to be talking today are community ambassadors. They have all been institutionalized at some point and then have successfully moved to the community. The institutions include state resource centers like Woodward and Glenwood, facilities out of state. Carbondale is one of them that we use. And also intermediate care facilities, also referred to as ICFs, nursing homes, and various other type of institutional care. And now they are currently living in the community and utilizing a service called supported community living. And basically what that is staff are paid to help them in their homes with daily living skills, safety, transportation, and a variety of things that they may uniquely need. The homes that they live in right now are their own apartment and also shared living with 4 or less housemates, and also host homes. Each ambassador has their own personal story of growth attained through work, community, school, or therapies, or all of the above. Their stories have a central theme of advocacy for themselves and for others. Their work is to inspire others not only to believe in themselves, but to also encourage families, guardians, staff, and friends to be brave and take that first step with them. Their journey has not always been easy. There have been struggles along the way, but as the community ambassadors will tell you, it was all well worth it. Jessica is our first presenter today, so take it away. Amazing Jessica.
The Amazing World of Jessica, Community Ambassador, Iowa Developmental Disability Council. About myself. Hello, I'm Jessica. I'm here as a Community Ambassador for the Iowa Developmental Disability Council. I was born and raised in small town Nebraska. I like to go to music concerts. I love cats and other animals. I have lived in the community for 7 years, and now I live in a host home in Urbandale, Iowa. The Wonder Year / Full House. In 2011, I moved to the Mosaic Company in Osceola, Iowa, and lived in a house called Intermediate Care Facility, or ICF, for 1 year with very old clients and a lot of staff coming in and out 24/7. It took a lot of getting used to because I've never lived with a big group of people before. Living in ICF wasn't easy, but I stayed positive. I talked to my counselor so we could make new goals for me moving on. In about 1 year, I moved to an apartment with 2 other girls called HCBS Home, and then I moved into a host home family in Urbandale, Iowa. My purpose. I'm here to inspire everyone to realize that they can do anything they dream of. I dreamed one day that I wanted to get a job, but no one thought I could. So I had to become my own advocate, and I did. How I did it. I signed up for job training programs when I lived in my first host home in the community. After 2 years of training programs, a Walgreens hired me on as a cashier, and I've been a cashier for the past 5 years now. My next dream job, to go back to school and receive my teacher's assistant certification, where I can work with special needs students in the public schools. You can do it too. Even if you feel like your disability stops you from achieving your dreams, you can do it if you set your mind to it and live in the community with people and programs that support you in your dreams. Thank you very much.
Hey, now, Jessica, we will wait for people to put a question in the chat box if they have one for you, and stand by. Okay.
Oop,
Um,
got questions coming in. Jessica, first question that we have, was it hard to learn to be a cashier?
No, it wasn't. I got trained pretty well, and like did it gradually. So it was gradually behind the cash register with assistance and having someone show me like every single week for a few hours behind the register. And then just learning a lot about counting the money and counting the big bills first. So no, it was not.
All right. And then we have another question. Why did you move to the ICF?
Because I wanted to have a new experience and to like be around more clients and be more productive during my days.
How did you find your current host home?
Oh, that's a good question. My current host home, I found it just by knowing the person, knowing her before I moved in with her, and being friends before that, and working with one of her siblings at my old apartment in Johnston.
What do you like most about living in the community?
What do I like most? I think socializing with other people, going out, like daily outings, just pretty much having fun and just like interacting with a lot of other people and going places, doing more things in the community and helping.
Great. What do you like best about your job?
Oh, what do I like best about Walgreens? I think just the customer interaction and helping the customers and just like being productive at work and stocking the shelves and just clocking in to have that social interaction also.
We've got a lot of positive comments in here, Jessica. One from Jen Wolf saying, thanks for sharing your story and motivating others to reach for their dreams. Lots of people saying your story's awesome.
Oh, thank you very much. Is there more questions?
I think that hit them all. You might have some towards the end too, Jessica, when we get to the end of the presentation.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for listening to my story. I appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Brady Werger, and I want to thank all of you for attending this today. I am 28 years old, and I live in a labor home in Glenwood, Iowa. A little about me. I came to live at the Glenwood Resource Center, an intermediate care facility, in 2011. Before my move to Glenwood, I lived in a brain injury facility in Carbondale, Illinois, called Neuro Restorative. At the age of 4 years, I struggled with explosive anger outbursts, which caused me to display dangerous behaviors. I would hurt myself and others When I arrived at the Glenwood Resource Center, my team of staff jumped right in and addressed my issues. And then they helped me to set up goals to work on to get better and not show the behaviors I was displaying prior to moving to Glenwood. After working on my barriers with my therapist, I noticed that my negative behaviors were improving. After many years of just focusing on my goals, I was able to work with my team of staff at the Glenwood Resource Center to make the next step in my life, which was to move into the community in a waiver home where I reside now. I have been living in the community for almost 2 years now with 3 other gentlemen, and I work with several different staff. The staff that work with me are great advocates for me, and I have fun working and spending time with them. My home is 24 hours, staffed 7 days a week. I have 2 different jobs at the Glenwood Resource Center. I work in the laundry department, and I also work with the environmental services department. I'm very involved in the community. I belong to Grace United Methodist Church, where I am a member of the choir, and I also play my guitar. I also participate in a praise band with another church, and we play once a month. I've had the opportunity to participate in several different ride-alongs with the Council Bluffs Fire Department, Council Bluffs Police Department, Iowa Motor Vehicle Enforcement, and both the Potawatomi and Fremont County, Iowa Sheriff's Departments. I am a member of the Iowa Developmental Disabilities Council, where I advocate for others like me with disabilities. I serve on the Executive Council for the Developmental Disabilities Council. Through the Developmental Disabilities Council, I have been interviewed by newspapers and a television reporter about my story and how I advocate for myself and others. I would like to thank several people today. Money follows the person who supported me with resources and guidance to move into the community. The staff at the Glenwood Resource Center and in the waiver program for assisting me to get to this point in my life, and especially my mom and dad for all the support they have and continue to give me and for not giving up on me. With all of this information I am giving you today, I want to say that you can't change what happens in your past, but look towards your future and explore what's out there and advocate for yourself. Thank you for attending today. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask anybody within our group. Have a great day.
Thanks, Brady. Now we'll look for questions coming in for you.
Well, Brady, while we're waiting for that, I'll just be self-serving here and ask my own question for you. What do you like about being on the Iowa DD Council?
About being on the Iowa Developmental Disabilities Council, it allows me to advocate for people that can't advocate for themselves. That's one of the major roles of why I was interested in becoming a council member, is because there's a lot of people out there with intellectual disabilities or just a disability and all that can't speak for themselves. And so that's where people like me step in and we speak for them to help them with just everyday life situations.
Great. Okay, we've got some questions here for you now. Brady, I know you've done some legislative advocacy. Can you tell us about what it's like to contact a legislator and how did it go for you?
Sure. So when I did my speech at the Glenwood Resource Center, I reached out to my local legislators. I reached out to David Seek. He could not attend the meeting, but I've talked to him several times. My state senator, Mark Costello, he did show up for my speech at Glenwood, and it was just, I guess the words that he said was just moved to hear my story, and how all my supports in my life that I've had set in place, how much support I have, um, and I agree that it's a good thing to have these legislators come into speeches like this, because if you don't allow them to be present at these events, they're not going to know how they could step in on the state level or federal level to make changes.
Great, great. How long did it take you to learn the guitar?
Oh, that's a good question. So I probably started taking lessons when I was probably maybe 12. And then I got tired of listening to my instructors, and I didn't want to practice. I didn't want to follow through with it, I would say. And so I stopped doing lessons, and I just kind of taught myself. But yeah, no, I enjoy it. Like I said in my video, I belong to Grace United Methodist Church, which was just an awesome thing for me. And I play in a couple different other church praise bands here within my community of Glenwood. So yeah, if anybody wants to make a trip to Glenwood, come on down.
Can you tell us about what your next goal is, Brady?
Sure. So I moved about 2 years ago into the community, into the HCBS waiver program. My whole goal is to show that I can do it here in Glenwood. My next step is I would like to move a little bit closer to my family. My mom and dad live in Waverly, Iowa, and a lot of my family lives within the Des Moines area. Right now, I'm about 4.5 hours away from my mom and dad, and about 2.5 hours away from most of my immediate family. So my next goal is trying to work on my barriers, the things that I can work on here in Glenwood to prepare me to make that next step to move closer to family. I always want to say this to people, is to take baby steps. Don't just jump right into it, because I've seen several people, when they just jump right into it, then they fail. And I don't want to fail, and I don't want to see anybody else fail. So that's my advice on that.
Good, good. Let's see here. Next question. Some comments. What do you like most about living in the community?
I like the freedom that I, don't have to ask or let staff know, hey, I'm going to the bathroom, or hey, I'm going outside, or hey, I'm going to be in my room, just to let you know. It's just more freedom. And you know what? I've worked hard for this, and so has everybody else. And, it's something that these ambassadors in this program have deserved. They worked hard to get to where they're at.
Great. Just a couple more comments from Jen Wolf. Such great success story, true resilience, you lived experience makes a difference. And then she also said, we'd love to have you in Waverly.
Sure. Yeah. Is Jean from Waverly?
I think she must be.
Okay. That would be awesome. Yeah, she will have to reach out to me to talk to me about what agencies are in that area. I'd be interested to hear that.
I think we got through all the questions, Brady.
Okay.
Hello, and thank you for allowing me to come and share my story today. My name is Joshua Pruitt, and this is my host home provider, Michelle Fry. My eyesight isn't the best in my left eye due to my brain injury. So, Michelle's helping to guide me along on my speech today so I don't lose my place. I am proof that smoking can really stunt your growth. When I was 13 years old, I was being an ornery kid. I was grounded at the time. I snuck out of the house to go buy cigarettes. On my way, I got hit by a truck while crossing the street. I suffered a close head trauma. I was the first child hit trauma at Vanderbilt University. During the years after my accident, my mom died. I lived with my dad until he got very sick. And then I moved to a Mosaic group home. Soon after moving, my dad passed away. I lived in the group home for 4 years. I liked some things about the group home, but I didn't get the personal attention I wanted. I also didn't get to get out in the community as much as I wanted. A little over 2 years ago, I got the opportunity to move out and live in a host home with Michelle Fry. I now live on a farm in Brussels, Iowa. We have goats, donkeys, cats, and dogs on our farm. I now have a real life. I get to go to church, the movies, bowling, and out to eat, and lots of other things too. I now have a girlfriend I love spending time with too. We just built a new house on our farm. It has 2 levels with an elevator just for me. I'm so glad to have gotten out of the monotony and into real life. Thank you for letting me inspire you on how you can have a better life too. I can't draw you a map, but if you really want a life that has more appealing to you, please talk to one of our representatives today. Thank you for having me, and I hope my experience can help you.
Can you tell us about your trip to Tennessee?
It was just kind of going home to me. I just went down there and saw my brother in my parents' grave. I took homework to Portland. He's such an Elvis fan. My dad went to school with Elvis, and all I know is my dad and Elvis have a little bickering between the two of them, but they went to nightclubs and played together.
Tell us all about your goats.
I got to tell you about Abby. Abby, that's a little goat that we got. And that little goat, when it was a baby, and we lived in the trailer, used to sleep in my bedroom with me almost every night. when Aggie had baby, I almost felt like a grandpa.
Great,
Thank
Josh.
you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Tammy.
Go ahead. I just wanted to say thanks and same
Yeah,
thing
great.
you were saying. So
Great story. First question for you, Josh. Where were you when you had your accident?
Oh, I was in Nashville. Nashville, Tennessee.
Not sure if we heard that, Josh.
Oh, I was in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, you in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. Derek says, thanks for sharing, Josh. Great seeing you. What do you like most about living in the host home and the community?
The freedom I get now. The company, I guess.
Good answer. Good answer. Any other questions for Josh? Can you tell about the difference between the group and now? I think it's between the group of ambassadors, Tammy.
I think it's the group home.
Oh, group home. Yep,
Group
tell
home
me.
and now.
Yep, to the group home and now.
The interaction of the freedom I have. Yes, I do. I feel like a family. Yeah, I get to go out, go places. And I'm not so much sick by myself.
Okay, another comment. Thanks, Josh. You are such a great example of how interdependence allows freedom. Make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all the questions we have for Josh at this time.
I'd like to begin by introducing myself. My name is Michael Gillette. Yes, just like the razor. Trust me, I've heard them all. My story as a disabled person kind of began in Thanksgiving of 2016 when I suffered a gunshot to the head, resulting in a traumatic brain injury. I was rushed to the hospital and eventually the University of Iowa, where they gave me 12 to 24 hours to live. But luckily I beat those odds and I've been here since. Started with, after the hospital, rehabilitation at On With Life in Ankeny, Iowa. I spent quite a bit of time there learning how to walk and do just everyday normal functions. I told myself while I was there when I was still in a wheelchair that I was going to walk out the door, so there's no way I was like wheeling myself out. And I did, in fact, walk out. And eventually, in a bid to kind of get free and get closer to being on my own, I checked myself into a nursing home in Muscatine, my hometown, which was awful. I stayed there for around 6 months. And I was 24, living in a nursing home that was filled with elderly people and people that just weren't really all there. I tried to help the staff where I could, but I was able to get out and ended up in a group home setting where I stayed for about a year, and eventually just that wasn't working out because I didn't have the freedoms I wanted because I still answered to somebody else. So after talking with my parents and my MFB person, I was able to get my own apartment in Muscatine with furniture and dishes, live just by myself. It's a 1-bedroom little apartment, so really all I need. Some of my family stops by regularly just to say hi and check and see how I'm doing. Don't have somebody to like call into my room and help me out 24/7. I have to do it myself, which I actually prefer. I like the feeling of accomplishment doing it myself, and have since then become a more active participant in my town's and nationwide government when I caucused for Iowa. I found that being disabled and having a brain injury, I have to work twice as hard as a person without those afflictions, and showing that it hasn't weakened me. I'm just showing how strong I always was. I was going into the Marine Corps when I got hurt. I put that same motivation and work that I would have used in my military career into my recovery. Found that I'm stronger than I ever thought I was. Most of my life, I've just done me, and that I'm the best expert on myself, and so are you. So just keep it up and don't stop.
And one of the things that, Michael, I was wondering if you could tell a little bit about your work history.
I've been just about everything from a grocery store clerk to bartender to line cook to security contractor. There's pretty much nothing I haven't done at least once.
You also have a little bit of a claim to fame in Muscatine.
I do.
Can you tell us about that?
At my best friend's family's bar where I was a cook, after I got hurt, they named a drink after me called the Gillette Tea, because my nickname was Gilletti when I worked in the kitchen there. It's lime green and highly alcoholic, so I mean, that's something to be proud of, I guess.
And after your brain injury, you really changed the trajectory of your life and how you go about living your life. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
In reference to the earlier very alcoholic drink, I was well known in the bars in my hometown, but now I barely ever drink, and I've started living very healthy. Just changed my diet, started exercising more, and taking better care of myself, my mental health, and all that good stuff.
What are your dreams for the future?
I would love to get back over to England where I was born and just become a journalist or something where I can travel a lot.
Okay.
Lots of people.
Thanks, Michael. Questions for Michael? First one, what are you doing for work, or are you volunteering now, Michael?
Let's see here, one second. I'm actually not working. I'm still on disability. So that's pretty much all I'm doing. The like caucusing and stuff has been like side projects. My main thing right now is I treat physical therapy as a job, and I actually just today got discharged from physical therapy and occupational therapy because I've gotten to the point where they can't do anything for me because I've done everything they've put out in front of me. So that's really about it.
Great. Okay.
Working on moving to where I'd be closer to the downtown area so I could do like volunteering, maybe get a part-time job.
Great. So Jen says, Michael, thanks for sharing. You show others the importance of having choice on and what people can do. And then Patty wants to know if you're still writing.
I'm still writing.
Writing, yep.
Yes, some. I've got like keep notes on my phone, so anytime I get a stray idea, just toss it on there.
Derek says, thanks for the motivational message. Michael, what do you like most about living in the community?
With living in the community, I can go wherever I really want to, do whatever I really want to. I'm not held back by the limits of being in a facility or a group home. It's just me out in the world, which is definitely what I prefer.
Okay, can you tell us of any of the help that you got to live on your own?
The help I've had to get out on my own. Well, Lori with MFP has kind of helped with the transition, and my parents, my mom and stepfather, have helped quite a bit too.
We have Robert in Waterloo wants to know if you can still have beer.
Not at all. It's probably not healthy because I don't have any fear of anything. I mean, had a bullet go through my head. What is there to be scared of now?
Great. That looks like all the questions for Michael. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tyron Launderville, and I am here to tell you about my story and placements. And let me start off with what started me and what put me in placements. So my first 3 placements were Four Oaks, Rabner, and Four Oaks again. They were really slow, and I thought that I would have been home after the first 3, but it never happened. So for the next placement, which was the 4th one, is Kalo Change Academy, like Ozark, and that one was a more of a structured type to teach you how to have responsibilities of your own. The second to last placement was the Restorative in Carmody, Illinois, and that place was the more of the place I really needed to tell you guys about. So from 14 to 18 years old, when I first went there, I did all the structures I needed to do, but then I started getting into a bunch of fights because I just got tired of going to placements, and I got into fights, a bunch of property restrictions. So I would break things, I would have the police get called on me, and they would have to come talk to me nonstop. And towards the end of the first 2 years of me being there, I started thinking, man, it's kind of getting boring. I need to start doing what I need to do to actually get myself out of this place, or else it's just going to be a nonstop routine of fights, arguments, and then regretting what I did. The last 2 years, I advocated for myself. I went to the head of the adolescent facility and I talked to her, and she told me that you need to do what the staff ask you to and use the skills that you have learned. And so I started doing all that the best that I could. I got noticed and I got told that you've changed quite a bit because you've advocated for yourself. You did what you needed to do. They found a place in Carroll, Iowa, which is opportunity living. It's a step closer to me getting my own apartment and just in general being out on my own. But it's a group home. I was in there for about a month, doing what I needed to do, taking care of my own budgets and stuff, buying my own groceries with staff. And I got into a fist fight, and got put in jail for one night. I talked to myself, told myself, you can't do this. You're in the real world. There's going to be major consequences for you doing these things. I had a friend from school who knew Amanda Cole. She helps me with through a company called CCO, Consumer Choice Options. So she is the only staff that helps me with cooking, cleaning, taking me to grocery shopping, and trying to help me find a job and such. That's her main job. My life has been hard, but at the same time, I since I've advocated myself and told myself you got to start being an adult. That's what I chose to do, and I am here right now in my own place with my staff, CCO provider Amanda Cole, which is more family to me, and I've learned quite a bunch of skills to utilize, and I've used those to do what I needed to do. My life in the community currently right now it's more of a simple teenage adult. So I go out, take my dog out, and every single day Amanda, she helps me cook or takes me to the grocery store and helps me do that stuff. Basically, she's teaching me how to do the stuff an adult usually would. Helps teach me how to cook, and some days she has me cook so she knows I'm actually learning. I have a cat named Preston. He's gray, fat, and fluffy. And I have a dog named Maya, who is very energetic and who does not bark whatsoever. I like to take my dog out for a walk quite a bit. It tells me that I have the freedom doing what I want to do. You got to advocate for yourself. My life has been hard, but at the same time, since I've advocated myself and told myself you got to start being an adult, that's what I chose to do, and I am here right now in my own place, and I've learned quite a bunch of skills to utilize, and I've used those to do what I needed to do. Thank you very much for listening to my speech, and have an awesome day.
Great. First comment, Ty, great seeing you. Thanks for telling your story. What do you like best about living in the community? And by the way, have you learned how to play pool yet? That's from Derek.
I thought that was you, Derek. You know, I guess what I really like about living in the community currently right now, it's a lot. I mean, it's everything. It's the social interactions with other people and kids. I mean, in my own apartment, there's neighbors who have kids, and I go outside and play with them a lot, like play soccer when they're just hanging out outside. And it's cool because whenever I go outside, they see me and they say, "It's Ty." And it's just the joys of actually knowing that you have the freedoms and of being an adult, and knowing that me myself had earned it and did what I needed to do. And yes, I have learned how to play pool, but not like actual pool. Still on the phone because we don't have a pool table here in town.
Can you tell us about your next goal, Ty?
You know, my next goal right now is probably to get a job that is more successful than honestly being in and out of a job, because since I've been out of placement, I have tried applying for jobs. So worked at a place called Pizza Ranch in Hy-Vee, but Hy-Vee didn't work out because of transportation needs, and I lived in Westside, a town away from the job that I had, which was Hy-Vee, and Pizza Ranch was more of a personal reason why I quit, because it seemed like they didn't understand or get what I needed it to actually succeed in trying to fulfill my customers' requests and such. So I quit to try and find a job coaching with local rehab. And currently, the only thing that I want is to find a job without any worries of actually being fired or just worries in general. I mean, I'm not perfect, but you have to do what you got to do in order to succeed in life, or else you're going to be homeless, is what I got told in a lecture a long time ago.
Okay, Michael says, Ty, thanks for sharing. Thanks for reminding us about the small things which represent freedom, like being able to go out and walk your dog. Jen says, congratulations, advocacy and the right supports equal success. Robert says, you sound like a cool dude. Patty says, freedom, freedom. We've heard that over and over again. It's so great to hear that you all have freedom. Ty, I'd like to know, how did you hire your CCO worker? Did you know her previously, or?
Yeah, so she was the one who actually helped me move on before I even was able to hire her. Currently, CCO, how I was able to hire her was through Iowa Total Care and Money Follows the Person, which helped me get the CCO consumer choice options. It's more of a difficult way to actually explain. Basically, my caseworker through Iowa Total Care helped me receive CCO services through my brain waiver. And that, since I have that brain waiver, it gets me eligible for other things, which one of them is a huge thing, CCO, which was what Amanda does. She helps me in home. Even though I live with her, she helps me in home and doing other things I need to work on, and she helps me with these goals just as any therapist or any occupational vocational rehab therapist in an institutionalized place. Yeah, so basically it's what she does, and how that's basically how I hired her. It's more of a difficult way to actually explain that. That's the way I assumed how it went on.
Yes, and another comment, good comment from Derek said, mention that Lindsay Robertson, and thanks to Lindsay and her team for making all this possible through the Money Follows the Person program. So thanks, Derek, for pointing that out. Any other questions for Ty before we open it up to questions for everybody? Mike Lightbody says, that's a nice headset. Do you do a lot of things online, like gaming or chatting with friends and family?
Yes, I do quite a bit of gaming. Most of the chatting with friends and family is always on the phone. I do quite a bit of gaming. I want to get a gaming desktop, but currently I have the Xbox. So, because I have the attachment to actually hook it up to a desktop or a computer, so I thought, hey, maybe I'd use it. And I found out I got the little lights on it, which is cool. Yeah, I do play quite a bit of games. Just not real pool.
All right. I don't know, Tammy, if you had any other words to say before we open it up and see if there's any more questions for anyone.
Okay. I do have a final comment about the Ambassador Project. And I just want to say how thrilled I am with the outcome of all our hard work in these videotapes and this presentation today. But the Ambassador Project will continue with 5 individuals and 2 guardians who have been selected to start training in October. We will be presenting virtually, just like this, for the near future, and including presentations for the resource centers and other places to audiences of individuals, families, guardians, and provider staff who want to hear about how you can move into the community and be inspired, very much like our current group did today. So at the end of October, we will have 12 individuals who are trained in speeches. We'll be working on getting some videotapes of them. And so take note and look for us presenting and talking to you about the successful transition into the community. So really welcome any final questions.
Michael wants to know if Michael is getting any royalties off that Gillette tea that they're selling at that bar. Is Michael still with us?
Yeah, I think so. Michael, did you hear that question?
Unfortunately, no. It's my best friend's bar, so I just kind of roll with it.
Great.
My name being on it's good enough.
Here's one for all of the panelists. Do you have a hard time filling out job applications? Anybody could answer this one.
This is pretty. So I was actually working with an agency for a while. Well, of course I was working with Boca Rehab, but I was also working with an agency out of Red Oak, Iowa called Nishna Productions. And so I had a job coach that would be in charge of helping me go out and find jobs that I'd be interested in, filling out the job applications, and then providing job coach training for me. So I've had assistance with that. But I don't, maybe some of the other ambassadors can speak up on their experience with that. That's what happened with me.
This is Tyrone Monderville. When I actually first moved out of placement, I wasn't just in general, in order for me to be in placements, I wasn't able to get a job or any of such. So I never had that experience to actually utilize a job application to receive a job of my own. And currently, in order for me to actually fill out one, I still needed assistance. So it's not as hard as actually filling out a whole packet of paperwork, but it's still kind of challenging in ways. So
I can answer it too. I think with me, like for filling out a job application, I do better if it's an online application, because my handwriting can get kind of big, like my sisters say. So if it's an online application and I can just go to the site and fill everything in, then I'm good on that. Then I just submit it. So that's the simplest for me. And I like to do things that are like nice and simple. So yeah.
Thanks. This is another question for all the panelists. What impact has COVID-19 had on your life?
I can answer that one. I think just the whole thing of not socializing with other people and like having to wear a mask when you go out, and just pretty much the getting together is like upsetting because you can't really be around people. And it's just kind of sad because like there was a funeral for my family and my mom couldn't go in Ohio because of COVID-19. So that's very sad, I think. So I just hope we can get through this and get past it so it can be done and over with. I hope so. I pray for that.
Does anyone else want to answer that question?
I can do. Oh.
Back to this. You can go first. My being such a social person, it's really bad being held back. No. Yes.
Did you guys hear him?
It was a little hard to hear.
Hmm.
You want to say it again, louder?
Yeah. I just like being a very social person, and I don't get socialized because of COVID.
Thanks, Josh. Ty, did you want to say something?
In Carroll, Iowa, it's a thing that we have to currently live with. A lot of people here don't really use masks unless they go into a grocery store, but if they're like outside walking around, they don't. And there's not really much change because it's not so bad in our area. I mean, my brother goes to school and stuff still. I mean, it's there. That's what you have to realize in your mind. And there's always the chance that you can have it. And so honestly, I have to wear a mask if I go into any restaurant or place in general. And we don't usually go to restaurants very often. I mean, we might go through drive-through every so often, but other than that, there's not much effect, I guess I should say.
Well, great. We just a couple of more things because we are running out of time. Jenny from Iowa Compass wants to comment that she heard Brady say he's looking for a group home near Waverly. Just a reminder that everyone is welcome to call Iowa Compass to find out about supports and services statewide. And they're at www.iowacompass.org, or you can call them at 800-779-2001. We also, there was a question from Imagine. I'm not sure what we can connect with this person, maybe offline, but that person would like to know if there's other Zoom meetings like this where they could connect and share stories like a Zoom support group. Do let you know that there's also, with the Iowa Compass program, there's also a program that's called COVIDRecoveryIowa.org. And you guys can contact us if you need help getting to that website, but they are providing a social outlet for folks and have a great some activities going on their great Facebook page. But we are running out of time, so I do want to thank all of our panelists today. They did an awesome job. It was great hearing all of your stories, so round of applause to all of you guys.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody again.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone, for letting me speak out.
Yeah,
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
You too. See you guys.
See you next time.
Have a good day.
Bye. Have a good day.